There's a strange kind of tiredness that sleep does not fix. It's not the sort that comes from long hours or difficult tasks. It's heavier than that. Quieter. It sits in your chest when you wake up in the morning and realize you already feel drained before the day has even started. And if you're honest, it may not even be the job itself that is exhausting you. Sometimes, what truly wears you down is watching someone beside you do far less than you, and still seem to get the same rewards. The same pay. The same recognition. Sometimes even more. You stay late. They leave early. You double-check everything. They barely finish the basics. You carry responsibility. They carry excuses. And somehow, nothing changes. That kind of exhaustion is different. Because it doesn't only tire your body, it tires your mind. It makes you question everything. Why am I trying this hard? Why does it feel like effort means nothing? Why do people who do less seem to get more? This is the kind of fatigue people rarely talk about. It is not laziness. It is not weakness. It is the emotional weight of witnessing what feels unfair. And that weight can drain you more than the work itself. Because the real burden is not the task in front of you. It is the silent comparison happening in your mind every single day. You notice who takes longer breaks, who disappears when things get difficult, who somehow always avoids the harder work. And then you notice yourself, still doing what needs to be done, still showing up, still carrying what others drop. At first, you tell yourself to ignore it. But the mind does not ignore what feels unjust. It keeps score. Every time you see someone doing less while receiving the same compensation, something happens inside you. A quiet resentment begins to build. Not because you are a bitter person, but because your mind is trying to make sense of a world that does not feel fair. Imagine carrying two bags. One bag is your actual workload. The other bag is the emotional burden of watching someone else not carry theirs. Often, the second bag is heavier, because now your mind is no longer focused only on your work. It is carrying frustration, comparison, anger, disappointment. You are not just working. You are emotionally reacting while working. That is why even a normal day can leave you feeling deeply exhausted. For example, think about the moment when your colleague arrives late, contributes the bare minimum, and still joins the same meeting where your manager praises the team equally. On the outside, it may seem small, but inside, something shifts. You begin to feel invisible. Your effort starts to feel unnoticed. And when effort feels unseen for too long, motivation quietly starts to die. This is where many people begin to lose themselves. Not because they are incapable, but because repeated unfairness slowly disconnects them from their sense of meaning. The pain is not just, I have too much work. The deeper pain is, why does it feel like what I give does not matter? And that question is emotionally expensive, because it follows you home. You think about it while eating dinner, while trying to rest, even while lying in bed. The body leaves work. The mind stays there. But here is the part most people miss. The exhaustion is not truly caused by the other person. It is caused by what their behavior awakens inside you. Their lack of effort becomes a mirror. It reflects your beliefs about fairness, worth, and value. Sometimes, it touches an old wound. The wound of always being the responsible one. The one who had to mature early. The one who had to hold things together. The one who learned that love, safety, or approval came through performance. So when you see someone doing less and still receiving the same outcome, it does not only annoy you. It challenges the belief system you built your life around. It makes you ask, if effort does not guarantee reward, then what have I been proving all this time? That question can shake your identity. But maybe this pain is not here to break you. Maybe it is here to reveal something. Perhaps what is draining you is not only the injustice around you, but the way you have tied your self-worth to overfunctioning. Maybe you have learned to measure your value through how much you carry, how much you fix, how much you endure, how much you sacrifice. And now life is forcing you to see the cost of that. Because being the strongest person in the room often comes with a hidden loneliness. People begin to expect your strength. They stop noticing the effort behind it. And eventually, you begin to disappear inside the role of the reliable one. This moment may be painful, but it can also be a turning point. Because now you are being invited to shift. Not from responsibility into bitterness, but from unconscious overgiving into conscious self-respect. The lesson may not be to become like the people who do less. The lesson may be to stop abandoning yourself in the name of being good. To set boundaries. To stop carrying what is not yours. To separate your worth from your output. Because who you are becoming is someone who no longer needs injustice to define their energy. Someone who can see unfairness without letting it consume their inner world. Someone who no longer asks, "Why are they like that?" but instead asks, "Why am I giving this so much power over my peace?" That is an identity shift. You are no longer becoming a person who simply works harder. You are becoming someone who sees clearly. Someone who understands that comparison is often more exhausting than labor. Someone who chooses inner steadiness over silent resentment. Perhaps this season of your life is not about finding fairness outside of you. Perhaps it is about finding balance within you. And maybe that is the more important transformation. Because there will always be people who seem to do less. There will always be moments that feel unequal. But the deeper question is this: will you let their choices shape your identity? Or will this pain teach you something about where you have been losing yourself? Sometimes the most exhausting people in our lives are not difficult because of what they do. They are difficult because of what they awaken within us. And once you begin to see that, everything changes. Not all at once. Not in some dramatic breakthrough. But quietly. In the way you protect your energy. In the way you stop over-explaining. In the way you stop proving. Maybe this is not the end of your frustration. Maybe it is the beginning of your awareness. And sometimes awareness is the first form of healing. So perhaps tonight, instead of asking why they are lazy, ask yourself what this exhaustion is trying to teach you about yourself. Because sometimes the job is not what is draining you. Sometimes it is the story you are carrying while doing it. And maybe the life you are rebuilding begins the moment you finally put that story down. The answer is not to become lazy like them, and it is not to keep hurting yourself by doing everything alone. The real answer is to focus on what is yours and let go of what is not. You cannot control how other people work, but you can control how you protect your own peace. Do your job well because that is who you are, not because you need to prove something or compare yourself to anyone else. If something is unfair, speak up when you need to, but do not carry that anger home with you. Let their choices belong to them, and let your energy belong to you. The work may still be hard, and those people may still be the same, but they no longer have to stay in your mind after the day ends. That is how the pain begins to heal, not when everything around you changes, but when you stop letting it control what you feel inside.